We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some unfortunate and sad news regarding former WWE superstar Dean Ambrose, and more specifically regarding the rumors that had been going around throughout much of 2020 regarding the Lunatic Fringe possibly returning to WWE this year, potentially as early as the 2021 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. As we had mentioned in many previous videos, despite the fact that Dean Ambrose left the WWE on relatively bad terms in 2019 and did not have a very solid relationship with Vince McMahon before Dean did leave for All Elite Wrestling, Vince was reportedly very open to the idea of Dean Ambrose making his big return to WWE in the near future, due to the fact that McMahon felt WWE made a big mistake in letting Dean Ambrose leave the company, because Ambrose was a mainstay star for WWE and had a huge fan base, and Vince regrets not giving Dean Ambrose the things that he had wanted in WWE, such as more creative control and better booking. Last year, there were reportedly a few closed-door meetings between Vince McMahon and Dean Ambrose regarding a possible new huge money contract with WWE, and while some fans felt like Dean Ambrose leaving AEW for a WWE return was very close to impossible, at one point late last year, after Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley, lost the AEW World Championship to Kenny Omega, Ambrose was legitimately considering Vince's big money contract offer to return to WWE, with Vince promising that Dean Ambrose would be treated much better than before and have the creative freedom that Ambrose had wanted in the past, making it a very worthwhile offer for Dean Ambrose to consider, especially seeing as though Dean's best friends like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are working for WWE, and the two never wanted Dean to leave the company in the first place, and Seth and Reigns even went to the lengths of trying to convince Ambrose to stay a few years back. As most of you are likely aware, Dean Ambrose has an opt-out clause in his AEW contract that would theoretically allow for Ambrose to leave All Elite Wrestling for a WWE return at any point in the near future. However, a new leaked backstage rumor has revealed that Dean Ambrose ended up declining Vince McMahon's WWE return contract offer in early January 2021, with Dean Ambrose feeling like he is doing his best work for AEW right now and wants to continue helping build up the All Elite Wrestling brand for the immediate future. We have been told that Vince McMahon was pretty upset and disappointed that Dean Ambrose turned down the huge WWE return for this year, with McMahon previously planning for Ambrose to return during the 2021 Royal Rumble match and have a feud on Friday Night SmackDown with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. However, on a positive note for Dean Ambrose's fans, who have been hoping that he will return to WWE soon, one source mentioned that while Dean did refuse the WWE return for this year, Ambrose apparently told Vince that he will be open to the idea of returning in a couple of years, and that he has not closed the door on making a comeback and having a Shield reunion in WWE, but just not right now when he has been doing well for himself in AEW. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of Dean Ambrose reportedly rejecting the big WWE return deal that Vince had offered recently, and do you feel that this was a smart decision on Dean's part, despite Vince assuring Ambrose that he would be treated much differently than last time? Last night on Monday Night Raw, fans witnessed the return of Randy Orton after the shocking moment that had transpired last week on Raw, which saw Alexa Bliss shockingly throw a fireball at Randy Orton. And by all means, most fans were unsure about whether or not WWE would be moving ahead with a storyline that would see Randy Orton affected by that fireball from Alexa Bliss. And last night on Raw, Randy Orton showcased that the fireball did affect the Viper in a big way, with Randy Orton emerging in WWE on Raw this week with a new mask, setting his sights on getting revenge on The Fiend Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. However, Randy Orton's new look and mask certainly received a mixed reaction from fans, with many fans including WWE superstars like Roman Reigns unable to take Randy Orton's mask serious, with one fan mentioning that Randy Orton looks like a new member of Slipknot, and another fan saying that Randy's new name should be El Viper. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of Randy Orton returning to WWE with a new mask last night on Monday Night Raw. Alexa Bliss has truly been transforming into a terrifying superstar over the past couple of weeks, because after last week's Fireball segment with Randy Orton, Alexa emerged in WWE this week on Raw to invite current Raw Women's Champion Asuka on Alexa's playground, which later saw Alexa Bliss take on Asuka in a non-title match, with Alexa Bliss shockingly turning into a fiend-like version of herself and pinning the Raw Women's Champion Asuka after a devastating Sister Abigail finisher. As of right now, Vince McMahon is legitimately considering Alexa Bliss to win the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match, with Vince feeling like Alexa Bliss has become one of the WWE's biggest draws and stars, whether male or female, and WWE need to begin pushing Alexa Bliss as a top star in the women's division with her new Fiend alter ego. On this past week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, the WWE teased a potentially huge new alliance on the Blue brand, involving the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and former United States Champion Apollo Crews. For those of you who had missed it, on SmackDown this past week, Apollo Crews had gotten some advice from Roman Reigns behind the scenes, which later resulted in Apollo Crews cheating in his match against Sami Zayn to pick up the win. And as of today, Roman Reigns has further teased this possible alliance with Apollo Crews on social media, and apparently Vince is in fact planning for Apollo Crews to turn heel and align with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, with it very possible that this alliance may begin at the 2021 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. For the fans who were worried as to whether or not Drew McIntyre would be cleared to return in time for the 2021 Royal Rumble to defend his WWE Championship against Goldberg, there is no reason to worry anymore, as WWE have confirmed that Drew McIntyre will be returning on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw to deliver one final message to Goldberg, who will also be returning on Raw just days before their scheduled clash at the Royal Rumble. And as of today, current backstage rumors still suggest that Drew McIntyre will be retaining his WWE Championship against Goldberg. We now have our main story featured in this video, and it is regarding the new shocking rumors and speculation about Parker Boudreaux, known to fans as the new Brock Lesnar, joining WWE in 2021. As we had mentioned in one of our previous videos, there is reportedly a lot of interest right now from Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman to sign this new monstrous version of Brock Lesnar, Parker Boudreaux, to a WWE contract in 2021, with the 22-year-old apparently wanting to transition from football to wrestling in the near future. And apparently, there is a lot of talk behind the scenes in WWE that Parker Boudreaux will be coming to the WWE before the end of 2021, and immediately join the main roster after a couple of months of training at the WWE's Performance Center, with Parker being introduced to WWE fans on SmackDown as the new Brock Lesnar, with Paul Heyman acting as his advocate, with Parker reportedly going to be setting his sights on Roman Reigns right after his debut, which could mean that when this new Brock Lesnar and Parker joins WWE this year, this will signal the moment when Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns and introduces fans to his new client and the next big thing in WWE, Parker Lesnar.